Good morning. Hello, my friends. Here I am again, your podcaster, Raphael Kasischke. How are you? I am fine. I'm happy. I'm happy to be here on Earth. And I would love to share with you today my insights and my story or thoughts about Switzerland and the financial center. Okay? So I moved to Switzerland from Germany in the last weeks because it is a lovely country. It is safe, it is solid, it is stable, and it is gorgeous with its mountains, fresh air, and nature. My grandmother had bought a piece of land in Switzerland and brought her money to a Swiss bank, the Swiss Banking Corporation in Basel, before the Second World War. She was supposed to move to Switzerland after the war, but it didn't happen because she was bombed out in 1943. So it is my task to take her place in Switzerland instead of her. But the real reason of my moving to Switzerland is to transform the negative energy into a positive one and to heal the burden of the country and their citizens. Switzerland is an island of bliss. This is how people see it from the outside and perhaps from the inside. But it is not favored and not influenced by bliss. Too many not praiseworthy deeds from the past have captured the subconscious mind of the Swiss and the country. The people are not really happy, relaxed, content, and with inner health. Externally, the country shows itself as a happy country and as an independent country. They are proud of their sovereignty and want to keep it. But their dependency on the world are enormous. Is Switzerland afraid of losing its sovereignty and its control? Is that the reason for their own armed forces? The country officially stayed away from the wars, but it built up its own armed forces, which have a place in society and among men. Why the military, I am asking myself, when the country wants to be neutral? And why are only men and no women included in the military service? Does Switzerland need the military to test war equipments before selling it abroad? It is a mistake to believe that Switzerland is independent. It is dependent. The international organizations such as the UN, the World Trade Organization, the World Health Organization, the Red Cross, the Bank for International Settlements, meaning the headquarters of all central banks, And of course, the World Football Association, FIFA, which controls and manipulates the global football business through its international financiers. All these organizations, as well as international multinational companies, have their main offices in Switzerland, and that is why they have an impact on the country and its citizens. Besides the weapon industry and the pharmaceutical industry and the many other industries that are not really full of light, meaning they are not really lighthouses, there is another industry that depends on the world and can be pressured by it, or vice versa. It is the money industry. And as we know, everything in the world depends on money. Money rules the world or runs the world. As Cicero said some years ago, no fortress is so strong that money cannot take it. Or in other words, money can buy everything. International money has been flooding Switzerland for almost 100 years, thanks to the Swiss banking secrecy introduced in 1935. These funds are partly very dirty. They are coming from autocrats, despots, and oligarchs, and many other people, organizations, companies from all over the world. These funds are looking for a safe haven, and they are looking for a place to hide. That is, or was, Switzerland. Switzerland is a trusted place, safe, solid, stable. Therefore, these funds, not full of light, flow to the country and to the banks. So Switzerland banks are also dependent on the world and their international customers. Zurich and Geneva are the capital of these funds. Funds from Middle East, Asia, Africa, America, and Latin America. Some of these funds have been acquired uncleanly. That means not ethically. Today, Swiss banks are taking a closer look at the origins of these funds. But much can be done by lawyers, accountants, or trustees hiding the origin of the money. And funds that have already been in the Swiss banking system for decades and have been acquired in unclean manner are not questions and not checked by compliance or Swiss authorities. So, Switzerland is dependent on the world. It is not neutral. How can the country free itself from these partly blocking dependencies? What could the future of Switzerland look like? How can the not so noble deeds and actions of Switzerland be cured? Because the country did not show itself from the positive side during and after the Second World War. Also, its deeds and actions during the apartheid regime in South Africa put a strain on the soul of the country and its people. The people of that time were involved, and that subconsciously weighs on their destinies today. This need to be healed. Switzerland has always been known for health and alternative forms. I am thinking, for example, of Monte Verita, the center of a new movement of life forms, and its visitors in the 20s by Gustav Jung, Sigmund Freud, Rudolf Steiner, and many, many more. Switzerland makes healthy by mountains, nature, and air. It is an oasis which sprays life power, but it is not being used enough or promoted enough. Money and health are two factors that are in symbiosis, that means in harmonious balance. By health, I mean the inner, the mental health, and therefore satisfaction. When we transform money into a bright, money and human shining investments, we get health. The money flow becomes healthy. The money owners becomes healthy. The money takers or borrowers and the investments becomes healthy. Today, many are ill, are not healthy. The money system is sick. It is dominated by greed and fear, which are two mental illnesses. The investments are thick. The donors are thick because the money originally generated has not been acquired in a clean and full of light way. And it is passed on to the descendants in this not clean form or way. And the states are sick because their governments cannot manage money. Now, how do we turn money into a light, powerful being? That is the question. I get to that in my next podcast, which is called The Money Laundering and Its Cure or Its Healing. So, dear friends, this was my story for today. I wish you a lovely day, a happy day, full of health. I love you, Raphael. Bye-bye.